5. In 1908, doctors were frantically trying to find a cure or prevention for tuberculosis at a children's hospital in Washington, D.C. So these experts start deciding to experiment on children who came from poor families. They inoculated 10 children with bacilli of tuberculosis and cultures of Koch's tuberculin without the knowledge of or consent of the parents or guardians of the children. 4. In 1871, Russia was working on finding out just how cholera was spread while also exploring the power of thought on the health of a person. Using murderers already in their prison system, they placed 4 of the men in beds where people had died of cholera. After sleeping in the beds, the men showed no signs of the disease. Next, the men were told to sleep in 4 different clean beds. This time, the men were told that the people who had slept in those beds before them had died of cholera. It was reported that 3 of the 4 men died of cholera within 4 hours. 3. A report was published in 1904 about an incident that happened in Havana during the Spanish-American War in 1898. According to the story, a surgeon and a young lieutenant got into a bit of a tiff and a duel was suggested. The method of fighting was decided by the surgeon to be 2 pills, the one harmless and the other containing prussic acid in concentrated form. But the surgeons already know that the fatal pill was basically not threatening to the life of the lieutenant. So, the lieutenant took one of the pills, believing that he took the poisonous one, until his legs started failing him. He tried to speak his final words, but a surgeon told him that his tongue would soon be paralyzed. He called for whiskey and let the poor man know that he did not swallow any poison and that it had all been part of a medical experiment to see if someone could be killed by the power of suggestion. 2. Is sweat really that bad? One bacteriologist thought so. In a newspaper article from 1898, he placed his test subject in a steam bath and afterward he scraped off the sweat to test it. He found that the sweat was teeming with germs and came to the conclusion that sweating released bacteria that was inside the body. He believed that an accurate diagnosis could be made of the patient's illness by making the patient sweat. Contrary to the old belief that sweat is full of germs, new research shows that the body releases an antibiotic called dermicillin in the sweat. While this discovery is fairly new, scientists have found that dermicillin can kill E. coli, Staphylococcus aureus, and other harmful bacteria. 1. An article was released in 1879 which was entitled "Died Twice." This article dared the reader to read on with the dead man made to cough, roll its eyes and moan. This story begins by having Merrick, the wife murderer, was hanged and his body handed over to the Indianapolis Medical College for medical experiments. The professor heading the experiments addressed his class by saying, "Gentlemen, this subject affords an opportunity of showing how far vital action may be suspended and again restored." Sure enough, air was pumped back into the dead man's lungs and a bellows apparatus. Also, the blood was replaced by a mixture of sheep's blood and milk that was heated up to 38 degrees Celsius. So, Professor became excited when he was able to feel a pulse in the dead man. Then the heartbeat became more steadily, the face became of better color, and the chest jerked as if there was a desire to cough. Everything was working properly. When the experiment was finished, the professor gave an order to remove all the apparatus from the body, but the body continued to cough, roll its head, and convulse. The body experienced a second death some minutes later. stay strong and be healthy. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next one.